So here we are, it's October, so you know your boy was gonna have to come before you guys and give you 10 more movies you need to watch this Halloween season. Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to give you guys 10 movies to watch this October. Now, I honestly think at this point this is becoming like an annual video for me. Pretty sure I did one last year. I know I did one 2 years ago. Now, I don't go back and watch those, so if I repeat a movie that was on one of those lists, I apologize, but I think I did a pretty good job of picking 10 different ones. Regardless, if one is repeated, well, I watch all of these movies every October. These are ones that I think you guys need to watch every October because we wait all year to get to October. We cannot wait for it. We are so excited and it feels like it came and went so quick. So I want to give you guys some movies that I feel like you need to make a point of watching these for many different reasons. Now these are in no particular order. I'm just giving you guys 10. And the first one is VHS. Now, this was a really big surprise to me back in the day when it came out. I remember finding this on Netflix, I think, years and years ago. And I've always been a really big fan of horror anthologies because I grew up on things like Creepshow, and then as a teenager, Trick or Treats. And then in my late teens, VHS came out, and it really shocked me. Now, there is one segment that specifically takes place on Halloween night, so that's kind of perfect, but I really think the whole vibe of this movie just fits Halloween. Now, I feel like part of that is just the found footage angle and aesthetic. Like there's something about that that just works. It's creepy. Honestly, I just find myself returning to this every October because it gives me those warm fuzzies of a simpler time. Next movie you need to watch this October is the original, The Evil Dead. Now, I know before I have talked about watching Evil Dead 2 in October, and I think you should watch that one too. But if I'm going to make a case for the scariest, most fall-feeling Evil Dead film, it's The Evil Dead, and it's not even close. See, Evil Dead 2 is when they really went into the slapstick comedy, and I love that movie. It's my favorite Evil Dead film. But I think that The Evil Dead is much more effective in terms of scares. And furthermore, I think that the atmosphere, it just really feels like the Midwest woods in the fall, and I love that about this movie. There's a lot to love about this movie, and a lot that can actually creep you out. This is something I wouldn't show my son because I feel like it would give him nightmares. There's something about those old school practical effects that you can tell were made on a shoestring budget that actually kind of works and gets under your skin. So if you're looking for an Evil Dead movie to watch in October, it's gotta be The Evil Dead. Now with this next one, I debated between 3 movies in this franchise. So I want to shout out Curse of Chucky and Child's Play 3. Specifically Child's Play 3 because of the final act taking place like in that haunted house attraction. But the one I'm returning to the most in October is Child's Play 2. And part of that is, it's just my favorite Child's Play movie. I think it is the perfect blend of scary Chucky and comedic Chucky. I also think it has some of the best performances and really just the best story in this franchise. And furthermore, that third act is the stuff of nightmares. My buddy CHH has said many times that as a kid, he viewed that as hell. That Toy Factory finale was hell to him. And honestly, I would tend to agree. I showed that scene specifically to my kid, and the look on his face as he was watching that unfold, it was something to bring a tear to your eye. And while the first Child's Play movie, believe it or not, is more of a Christmas movie, I'd say this one has more of the look and feel of a fall film. And furthermore, it's just an iconic slasher movie that I find myself returning to in this month because that's what we do in October. So, in October, you gotta fuck with the Chuck. Next movie you need to watch this month is Silent Hill. Now, I'm just gonna go out and say I'm actually really excited for Return to Silent Hill because that trailer looks promising, and after the last movie, I was kinda like, something promising started and then was quickly gone. I'm hopeful they can bring it back with the next movie. But I have to shout out my buddy Mark for sending this to me a while ago because he was adamant, you gotta watch this movie, it's great. And I said, whatever, fine, I'll get around to it. The day I got it, I popped it in. Love this thing. Absolutely love Silent Hill. This just feels like, if I can put it into words, like going to a haunted house, like the abandoned town that's actually not abandoned with all of the spooky shit and underlying secrets and feeling like and really being an alternate dimension. There's so much about this that I think is perfect for this time of year. That isolation and desolation, the overwhelming feeling of dread and despair that just hangs over this movie. Everything about Silent Hill is perfect for October. So if you want to watch a movie that might creep you out and might get you in the mood, it's Silent Hill. Next up is The Strangers. Now, no, do not mistake this for The Strangers Chapter 1, which is a pile of flaming dog shit. This is the original Strangers film from 2008. And I just want to say, this one and Pray at Night are very, very different movies. But this one is the October watch. Now, it helps that the setting is like this house out in the woods, clearly in the fall, but also it is just a really old school, suspenseful, slow burn. And that is perfect this time of year. I've talked about movies like House of the Devil and the original Halloween. This is very much in that same vein. And when it finally ratchets up at the end, it is pulse pounding. Everything about this movie makes it perfect to watch for the month of October. And honestly, you couldn't go wrong with Pray at Night, but I think this takes the cake in October. Next up is one that flies more under the radar and not enough people talk about it, but I honestly find the first film to be quintessential October viewing, and that is Phantasm. Now, of course, this is the Phantasm set with all 5 movies, but I'm specifically talking about the first movie. While Phantasm 2 is actually my favorite, the better October viewing movie is definitely the first one. Look, the freaking settings in this movie, the vibe, the atmosphere, the friggin' tall man, and just how foreboding and mysterious he is. Everything about this movie screams October, and that score is legendary. I put that score up there with Halloween, with Tubular Bells. I mean, it is that good, and it sets that much of a mood. I mean, Phantasm just oozes October. You've got cemeteries, a funeral home, dead bodies galore. If you want a movie that's going to get you in that October mood, Phantasm is the one to do it. Now, next up here is one that's a newer addition to this list, and I think that this one or the first one are perfect viewing, and that is Terrifier 2. Now, of course, it helps that Terrifier 2 literally takes place on and around Halloween, so it's dripping with that kind of atmosphere and aesthetic. But furthermore, that entire third act in the Terrifier just reminds me of stuff from places like Kings Island when I would go to Fear Fest as a teenager, how they would do up all those haunted houses. I love seeing stuff like that. I have so much nostalgia for like haunted houses and stuff like that because I did so much of it as a teenager. So Terrifier 2, having their entire climax take place in one, just really took this thing over the top for me. But it's got a great score. Again, it takes place on Halloween. Look, everybody knows and loves Pennywise, but honestly, when it comes to Halloween, Art the Clown is the clown you want. Now, this next one may be a little bit more controversial. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that is the Lords of Salem. Now, I know, Rob Zombie is an acquired taste. You love the guy or you hate the guy. Maybe you've never seen this movie, or maybe you just looked up the reviews and you were like, yeah, this movie got bashed. Well, most of Rob's movies did, so that's not really a surprise. However, I have specific criteria when I'm picking movies to watch in October, and The Lords of Salem meets that criteria. 1, it's a slow burn. 2, it's more mystery and suspense than it is straight up horror. 3, it actually has that fall vibe and look to it. It clearly takes place in late fall. It almost feels like November, not October, you know what I mean? And I've said that before in videos, but it's a real thing. Like, there's a difference. October has a feel and November has a feel. November is much more dreary and depressing, and that's what The Lords of Salem has. And also, it's all about witches and, like, the demonic. Of course it fits at Halloween time. I don't know how you could make an argument it doesn't. Love or hate the movie, it nails what you want in a movie in October. So if you're gonna watch a Rob Zombie movie in October, make it The Lords of Salem. Now, the next one is an oldie but a goodie, and one that is in my yearly rotation on Halloween night, and it has been for years. And that is the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I think the reason that I watch this one on Halloween night every year is because I remember this being on our TV on Halloween night. My mom would be watching this on AMC or whatever, And I remember just seeing Freddy all the time on Halloween night. I'd come home from trick-or-treating and A Nightmare on Elm Street would be on. So it's almost like just part of my routine. It's in my DNA at this point. But I also think that this is the Nightmare movie that looks and feels the most like it takes place in the fall. Like one that you can watch in October and it kind of fits the vibe. I think a lot of the night sequences really amplify that and make it feel that way. But, I mean, it goes without saying. It's a freaking classic. Freddy Krueger is synonymous with the holiday of Halloween. If you're not watching A Nightmare on Elm Street in October, what are you doing? As I do every time I do one of these videos, I make sure to end it off with a Halloween movie. So the last movie I think you need to watch this October is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, specifically this one because I think most people would agree it inarguably has the greatest fall atmosphere in the entire Halloween franchise. There's some that rival it and come pretty close, but I don't think anything beats Curse's atmosphere. I also think that it has one of the most intimidating Michael Myers performances in the entire franchise. Michael is mean. He feels like a demon under that mask. He does not feel like a man. There's so much about this movie that is just right. And if you grew up in the Midwest or close to that area like I have my entire life, then you know what it looks like in October. And Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers absolutely nails that to a T. It reminds me of late October days throughout my childhood. I love everything about this movie. But I'm just being unbiased when I say if you want a movie that's going to nail the atmosphere, be genuinely creepy, and become something that you can watch every October that's like a warm blanket to you, it's Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. So there you have it. That's 10 more movies you need to watch this October. I love doing these videos in October, and I love the month of October. I'm so happy that we are here yet again. I'm not happy that it means that I'm about to turn 31 here soon, but I'm happy that Halloween is on the horizon. We waited a year, we got through it. So please do me a favor and make me a promise. You will not take this month for granted. You will watch these movies and so many more. You will soak up every ounce of Halloween that you can because you know before you know it, it'll be gone. So don't take this one for granted. Please watch these movies. Please watch a ton of movies. Watch as many movies as possible and never let that inner child in you die. So happy October to each and every one of you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and now that we've reached October, guess what? You're in my world now.